Hey guys, welcome to the Model Citizen Podcast. We're your hosts, Hunter and Michaela. We are so excited to have you here. All right, let's dive in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome, Hunt. Sister, you've had a great week. Your week is off to a stellar start.
Guys, the fact that I'm doing this right now, I just want you guys to understand something, okay? How much love I have for you and how much we put into this podcast and how much we make this a priority. And because let me tell you, after the week that I've had, after the last 36 hours that I've had.
Yeah, right. It's a treat. It's a treat that you're here. It's a testament. Hunter is literally sweating in front of me. You're drenched in sweat right now recording.
Here's the thing, you guys. Okay, let's take you back, okay?
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, I live in New Jersey somewhere. I'm not going to tell you where. But we, for the last 3 days starting 3 days ago was the start of a historic heat wave where we have never, ever, ever this early on in summer I don't think ever seen numbers as high as like 105, 106, 107. Historically high, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is on the East Coast, it's not just heat. Like I grew up in California where it's like a dry heat, right? Manageable. Okay.
Right. Totally.
This is 105 plus 85% humidity. It is, you cannot breathe in it at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's bad on a 75-degree day with the humidity. So yeah. So I would say about 2 days ago, we are sitting here and then all of a sudden our power goes out. What?
What?
Well, actually,
what's going on?
What happens is my dad and husband went out to go and do like a Formula One racing game in somewhere in New Jersey. And me and my dad's wife, stepmom, we were like, okay, we'll take care of the kids. We'll do bath time, bedtime, whatever. So we were just laying in bed, like about to wind down, and power went out. Okay. Power went out. So we're like, okay, cool. Hopefully this is just like a quick little blip. Bada bing, bada boom. And then it didn't come back on. And then Brian texted me and said, oh, power just went out where we are too. And I'm like, okay, come home. So, typically we're just kind of going to like ride it out, whatever, right? It's fine. It's like, let's just like,
you guys are infamously known for being flexible, a flexible family.
But here's the thing, right? But here's the thing. Also, you have 2 children who are
absolutely, that's what I'm saying,
scheduled kiddos. Who are already, Hudson's like, where's the light? Why is there no sound machine? What's going on? Why is it so hot in here? Like what? He is the question master.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, he's like, what's going on? Where is it coming from? Where are they going to fix it? When are they going to fix it? Is it going to be this hot all night? What are we going to do? Blah, blah, blah. Right. And we're like, okay, cool. Trying to like figure out in real time what to do. So because we had the AC on, it wasn't super, super hot inside the house yet. Like it was like manageable. And we were like, okay, let's just, you know what, do the damn thing. So Brian took Ava, I took Hudson. We got ice packs, put them underneath the kids, got some wet towels, put them on top of the kids, and played sound machine through our phone until our phones died. Bro. The way that I have just done the biggest Amazon order for things that are like cooling towels that you can put in freezers and extra like ports for your phone and all the stuff, okay? Because this was insane. Of course, we gave our children all the fans and the ice packs and everything, and we were like, whatever, like we're not even going to worry about it.
Right.
So we sleep, Dad and Ilka sleep downstairs and with the dog, and we're just all on ice packs. Absolutely insane. Hottest.
I can't imagine how hot the room upstairs at the very, very top was. It was probably absolutely boiling, even on the best of days. That room.
Even during winter, it's hot.
It is a hot, hot
And
room.
Dad and Brian went up there to like check on the air conditioning, and they were like up there for a good amount of time. They were like, we could barely breathe. So like, here's the
Mm,
thing. I was in Hudson's room sleeping with him and he was like snuggled up next to me because he was like, I'm kind of scared, like what's going on, right? And I was like,
right.
don't even worry about it. Like it's totally fine.
Mm,
As long as he's cool, that's all that matters. I don't care if I'm sweating, but he's like snuggled up next to me.
right.
And I'm like, can barely breathe.
A little heater. A little heater. Yeah.
Heater.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So finally, we're like, okay, whatever, we're calling it. And you know what? PSE&G kept saying it'll be on by,
They'd love to do
9
that.
p.m. Yep. And then we
Mm-hmm.
check again, 1 a.m. And then it'll
Yep.
be 7 a.m. And then it's 3 p.m. the next day. Okay.
Mm,
And here's
mm-mm.
the thing that grinds my gears. If they had just said, you know what, this is pretty gnarly, like we think it might take a long time, just so y'all
Right.
know, prep for it, start now, maybe get a hotel room, whatever, then I would be like, hey, take whatever time you need. But this like stringing along
Yeah,
makes
like
me
the 3 hours, the
furious.
4 hours, the 6 hours, the three. It's like,
And I
yeah, because then you
get
can't plan. You can't plan.
you
Yeah.
can't plan. And I'm like, I have two children. I
Yeah.
have guests in my home. I have a fridge full of food that I just bought. I have a home. I have a dog in here. I have all this
You had
stuff
the fullest house possible.
ever.
I don't think your house has ever been more full, if except for like during the holidays.
Literally, all that was missing was
Mm-hmm.
you and Mom and Martin.
Mm-hmm.
And so, finally it's the next day. We wake up, we're sweltering. It's so freaking hot. And so we were like, okay, let's go get a generator. Okay.
Yeah.
So we go, and I tell Brian and Dad, I say, I will spare no expense. Get me whatever generator you need. Okay.
Right. Right.
So we go, we get a lunk of a generator.
Right. A big
We
old
start running
thickum.
thickums. We start running
Mm.
things. We get fans. We get extra fans. Shout out to the shark fan that freaking saved us, dude. I'm actually working with them, but the fan that they had sent me, I loved so much that we picked up 2 more at Home Depot. It is
Imagine
the
this is
best.
all a
Sponsored by
ruse
Shark.
so that you can
I know. I'm like,
slip
this is
in a
actually perfect
sponsorship.
because I'm posting it today on my Instagram, and people are going to be like, okay, this is like fishy as hell.
They're
But
like, this is an absolute ruse, dude.
Yeah.
This is this is
Dude,
a
I
hack.
wish.
Oh God, wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that be just
That'd be good.
that would be the mic drop of all century?
Good
How long
advertising.
do generators last for? How much power do
Dude,
they have in there?
do you want to know what's crazy?
Mm,
So like generators can last for like on a tank of gas, depending on like the wattage or something of it, for like
mm.
24 hours.
Yeah,
If you
that's what
get like a
I've
really big expensive one. We got
right.
one that I think would last like 12 hours on a tank of gas, but it takes like multiple tanks.
Yeah. I always think about those ones that like Target and like Ralph's and like all of those like big stores have, because they do have those. I remember we had an outage when I worked at a place that rhymes with Schmordstrom, and we had a power outage, Schmordstrom, and they had a whole generator, a backup, but it powered the entire department store.
That has to be a
for
massive one.
hours and hours and hours.
And that's certainly not one that you have to pull like we got, where you're like yanking.
No, where you're like hauling it around.
Just,
you're like,
yeah.
Was Dad getting flashbacks to the property when we lived on the
Brian
property?
was doing it, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
it was just one of those things that was just like so.
Does it humble you?
Oh my God, dude, it humbled me so much. And I'm like, God, I take so much for granted. Lord, I will never again, because it's like even something like air blowing, or like even just being able to go into the fridge and get my kids some food for breakfast. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's insane. And so we went and got a generator. We did all that. And I was like, okay, like we'll try to manage and like hold out a little bit. During this time, by the way, like I know everyone's thinking, why don't you just go to a hotel? I had called every freaking hotel. So these people have been dealing with outages for the last like week. So like every hotel within a 20-mile radius of me, even into New York City, were overbooked. Like I was like, I don't care.
It's also summertime. It's like, this is when people are vacationing. Yeah.
So there was one hotel, and they were like, we have one room, but like you can't come until 3 because like people check out and we need to clean the room. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll take it. I'll reserve it. They're like, no free refunds.
They're like, I'll clean the room.
No, literally at that point I was like, I'll clean the room. I don't care who was in there. I don't care if it was a cat piss everywhere. I just need to sit in AC.
Right.
So during this time, kids are so overtired because everyone woke up at 4:30 because it's so hot. Everything's crazy. And so we're like, okay, we're going to blast fans on them through the generator. Our house looks like a fucking, like we're running a movie set in here because we have
Right.
lines everywhere. And Ava, of course, is tripping over every freaking line and like
Yeah, of
falling and
course.
crying. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh.
So lines are going up and down the house with extension cords. We put a fan in each of their rooms and there's sound machines on. I guess this is where my kids being regimented as fuck bites me in the ass. Because they're just like, what's going on?
Right. It's just pure chaos. Yeah. This is, by the way, this would not, us as kids wouldn't have even batted an eye at this chaos. Like the way that we grew up was so unregimented.
We lived on a generator.
We lived on a generator in freaking the middle of nowhere. Like there was no structure for the most part. No. This would have been like a normal Saturday for us.
Well, that's what Dad was saying. He was like, yeah, we used to do this all the time with you kids. Just give them some wet towels and put them on top. Dude, I gave Hudson a wet towel and he was like, what is this? You know, he's like, give me my blanket. So we put fans
you should put Hudson in Boy Scouts. I feel like he's
going to go in Boy Scouts for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to be fair, Hudson during all of this was very he was very good. He was very much like roll with it. He could tell. The one thing about Hudson is this. He's regimented, but he can tell when mom is losing it.
Right.
Because he kind of took a step back and was like, okay.
Yeah. Like I don't want to push it too much.
Yeah. He was kind of like, okay, I'm going to roll with the punches and then I'm going to ask questions later. Thank God.
Yeah.
So we put him down for a nap. And of course, the entire time I'm like literally checking on them every 2 seconds. And I like go in and I like put my hand on Ava's neck. Bro, even with a fan blowing on her hair was like stuck to her body. And I was like, this is like, now it's becoming unsafe. I was like, this just isn't safe. And I went in to check on Hudson. I had put him to bed in just like a pull up. And he likes to sleep with a blanket over him because he's just like, it's like almost like a sensory thing. Right. And he was, his bed, Michaela, was soaked like as if he went in with a pair of swim trunks. Right. And they had big fans blowing directly at them. Like that's the kind of heat it was. So Brian and I woke them both up and we're like, we're getting the fuck out of here. And bro, I had the dog downstairs because Dad and Milka were gone for the day.
No, where did they go?
They had gone to explore.
So explore?
Dog downstairs.
They left you guys to explore?
Just went to go explore. And I said, hey, go for it. We're going to.
Dad went to a Barnes and Noble's. I bet you $100. He went to a Barnes and Noble and he went and sat in the AC.
Probably. We were about to do the same thing.
Because literally we are nothing if not creatures of absolute environmental comfort.
It's so funny because that was my first thing. Go to Barnes and Noble's.
It's a safe space.
It's a safe space.
When we had our outages here, that's where that was the first place that I went and thought of. And when I was like, okay, if anything, if the Barnes and Nobles has power, I'm going to be there. Yeah. When I was a kid growing up and I was having anxiety at school, I would literally leave class and go to Barnes and Nobles. It's a hug. Okay. And if anything ever happens to a Barnes and Nobles, you'll hear from me. Michaela, this government will hear from me more than they've already heard.
Literally closing one down near me, and it is the most devastating thing.
No, they're opening them. No, they're reopening them. Yeah, Book Talk saved it. Book Talk saved bookstores.
Because here's the thing. The thing is this. The books at Barnes & Nobles are 10 times more expensive at Barnes & Nobles than they are on Amazon. And I need Barnes to fix that because we have to save Barnes.
We have to save Barnes, dude. And that's really what this – save Barnes.
Sponsored by Barnes.
Sponsored by Barnes, and now people are going to think that we're from the Midwest and we're talking about literal farm barns. Save the barns, save the cows, save the goats.
BARNES, not BARNS.
BARNS.
BARNES.
We don't care about barns unless you're talking about reclaimed barnwood for your flooring. We like that. We support that. And even better if it's reclaimed barn flooring in a Barnes and Nobles.
Oh my God, that's the best.
Bro.
That's so much just
But let me tell you something I'm going to fight with Barnes and Nobles on if I can just say something real quick. The fact that they have
took away their chairs.
That for sure. The fact they took away the chairs, how absolutely dare you? Part of me though is kind of like,
Cuckoo, psycho.
The germness of it all, I kind of get it. That's not why they did it. They just don't like people hanging out there in that way. But the fact that their cafe, it serves Starbucks, but it's not a Starbucks, so it doesn't take Starbucks gift cards, and it doesn't it doesn't scan. I don't like it. Don't look like a Starbucks if you're not a Starbucks, and don't serve Starbucks if you're not a Starbucks. You don't get to be half in and half out.
No,
all right, you put your whole bussy in, or you don't.
You need to take a whole gift card.
You need to take a gift card.
I don't know what to tell everybody.
Yeah. So anyway, so you guys decided you're doing a hotel.
So
you guys were like, hotel.
Yeah. So we're, kids are crying because they're hot, they're tired. They've been up since 4 a.m. They normally get their naps in. The house is a sauna. We have wires and plugs everywhere and a generator at the back and the windows open with that. And we're like, oh my God. And I'm packing their bags and I'm like, okay, what do I need? What do I need? Making sure I have everything for them, everything for me, making sure the dog has everything.
So you guys should have a go bag for the kids.
Oh, we do. We do. And we've used it, and then I didn't refill
it. You're like, I didn't refill it.
It's exactly it. I didn't refill it. So,
you know what you did? You type B plus. That is what happened. You type A
in the head.
You kind of are like a type B plus, I would say. Like, I don't think you're like up in everyone's face about shit like a type A is. I think that you're like, you do have a way, but like there needs to be B pluses and A minuses in this world. And they're not any better or worse, but it's just the way you operate. I think
so, because here's the thing about me is that I have a first aid kit in my car that I just recently ran out, and then someone needed a Band-Aid. And I was like, well, I have to refill that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You'll have sunscreen, but it's expired. You'll have like a self-tanner.
You'll have sunscreen and it's expired.
I had sunscreen one time. I had sunscreen one time that was expired.
With a red ass.
Check this out.
That's right. Look at me, dude. I am free from it.
We need to talk, though, about the fact that I have a tan line right now. You guys, this is big. This is huge. This is like, okay, these are the important things. Have you ever known me to have a real tan line?
No, never. Also, I'm dying because as we're podcasting this, as we're going about, guys, I'm a mere hour off of coming back from the hotel. I have a thing pop up on my computer that says birthday decorations and put together Hudson's bike. So if you guys want to know,
it never stops.
It never stops. Literally, and I have to post content and get content in by Friday. Anyways, so guys, we stayed at the hotel, whatever. But here's the silver lining of it all. Besides me and my neighbors being in a group chat, like being like, "Is it on?" Like all night long, we got to dry run our kids in a hotel, which was nice because we're going to be going to some hotel trips, like doing some little trips coming up. And Brian and I have kind of been like, what are we going to do? Like, I don't know. What's it going to be like? And I have to say, like, it wasn't so bad. Like, none of my kids wanted to be with me. Here's the thing. I have the reverse. So like parents will always be like, oh, like they always want mommy. They always want daddy. Oh, I'm kind of like the workhorse. I'm kind of like the disciplinarian workhorse. I'm like, I lug everything around. I have everything. I'm the one who kind of like disciplines
to me. That's insane to me.
I know.
No, dude, this can't be. We can't allow. You guys got to switch the dynamic.
We have to switch the dynamic.
Does that not like make you relieved that they don't want you? Because that would make me relieved. Then it's like my partner's issue. I'm like, you deal with them being sweaty and sticky on you. This is why I can't have kids, dude, because the way that I would want to put myself first, I would be like, no, mom gets the ice pack. You two can suffer. You know what I mean?
I was we made it. We both were like, okay, we're going to suffer through this night. And neither Brian and I did not sleep, not even 2 minutes. Like no phone, nothing. Cause we had to save it for
I would have left the kids and gone to a hotel. I would have gone to a resort. Would have been a vacation. Would have been an impromptu vacation for mom.
God, dude, it's amazing.
I've given up too much. There's no way.
You're like, I've given up too much just hearing about this.
I have literally been through just as much as you guys have.
Yeah, dude. You're like, I've given up too much. This is too much.
Was there like a fun aspect of the hotel at all for the kids? Or was it just kind of like
so excited? They were like so excited about the hotel. We walked in the room and it was like fine, smelled like cat piss. At the point I was like, I don't care. It's cold as hell. We put it down to 64. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna like sit in front of this. And I got Connect 4 and some snacks. They didn't understand Connect 4, so that was it ended in a fight.
Okay, great.
But we sat there, we watched some TV and kind of all snuggled up, and Ava ended up sleeping sleeping with me. Brian slept with Hudson. And dude, we were out by 6 o'clock. Like I texted Michaela, like what, 6:15. I was like, just so you know,
Yeah.
we're going to bed. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we woke up at 6:30 this morning.
I was like, I will talk to my sister in 13 to 14 hours. Like I knew the second y'all got some AC on you, it was going to be lights out.
AC and some blackout curtains and a sound machine. That's a wrap.
That is a wrap, Daisy. That is the equivalent to, for me, my heated blanket and a sound bath. Like that's going to take you out.
Good to take you out.
And everyone did good, though, at the hotel. So we're happy with the hotel situation.
We're happy with the hotel situation. Good. I fear we can go to Legoland.
Great.
I kept telling them, this is your dry run. So make a choice. I literally kept
make a choice.
It's your choice right now.
Yeah. If you want Legoland to happen, show us what you got.
I know someone's going to message me and be like, that's so wrong. Anyways.
Oh, I can't anymore.
Can't, dude.
No, I can't. The feedback. I'm so tired of it.
At this age, Hudson's at the age where I tell him, I say, you can make a choice.
Yeah, it's your choice.
We have this book called Danny, what is it? Like Danny Goes to the Park or whatever. Danny Goes to school. And
Danny
get
does
these
some
books
bullshit,
because you have some idea. You have the story. You can make either a good choice or a bad choice. And
yes, it was like in Highlights magazine, remember? Yes. There was the good kid and then the bad kid. I don't remember what they were named right now.
And you can pick it and the story ends like 50 different ways.
Yeah, and one of them, Johnny goes to jail, and the other one, Johnny becomes a CEO.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, that's not true. But it was kind of in that same yeah.
So we literally, but like they're the best books, and they've really taught what Johnny Goes to jail.
Goofus and Gallant. That was the name. Goofus and Gallant. So you can tell Hudson you can have a Goofus or a Gallant move.
I love Goofus.
Well, Goofus is obviously the one that's fucking up, and then Gallant, from the etymology gallantry,
of course,
is like the good one, and he makes the good decisions. And it's like Goofus bosses his friends, where Gallant asks, what do you want to do next?
Yeah. See, what I like about this Danny book, Michaela, and we have to write a book like this, is it gives Danny, the person, the choice. So it's not even two different people. It's like he decided to hit his brother, or he decided to tell
he decided to take a sawed-off shotgun.
Yeah, to his brother. And then I look at him and I go, what do you think is the better one?
And the other one made a banana cream pie. Which one do you think?
The thing is Hudson thinks it's more fun to do the bad choices because it ends to like a crazier story. And I'm like,
yeah, that's why people like villains.
So, dude, my kid likes a villain. Okay, so
I know he loves a bad guy. It's so funny.
He's now at that age where I'm like, Hudson, you make the choice. You have a choice to make right now, and there's going to be consequences for that. We're teaching him consequences. Listen, the choice is you don't listen, you do this, that, the other thing. Then that means X, Y, Z. Listen, I've tried the gentle parent, the whole thing. I get it. I know I'm going to get DMs. This is how I do it. Mm-hmm. Anyways.
What is so wrong about anything you're saying, by the way?
Like, you know what? I don't know.
Just like you're like, I teach my children good and bad, and like what? And
people
what?
Are going to be like, because people are going to be like, it's actually funny because we're going to be talking about what we wish we'd known in a few minutes. And one of the ones I got was, what I had wished I known was that parenting is not what you see on social media. And I'm like, yeah. Because people are like, no, you have to say it like, honey, sweetheart, I know you wanted to stand up and make a lot of noise. I'm like, Hudson, sit down.
You know what?
And sometimes you need that.
The thing is there's 100 different ways to make a chocolate chip cookie, okay? And there's going to be different, but it's going to end up a chocolate chip cookie, all right? Yeah. If you're just don't beat your children, okay? And give them the attention. Here's the thing. Give your children the attention that they need up until about 6 or 7 so that they don't turn into psychopaths. That's all I ask of everybody. Right. Please give your children the attention that they need so that we don't have to deal with your psychopathic children when they grow up. Okay? And that's it. And don't hurt them. And other than that, I really don't care what parents do. I really don't
hurt
care.
Them, don't be abusive. Do what you got to do. Okay? Anyways, guys, now's the time. Okay?
The time has come.
Every week, we're kind of going to introduce a different theme. Mm-hmm. This week, I'm excited to talk about what we wish we knew.
Yeah.
And this is advice to our younger selves. This is from you guys. We asked what you guys wish you had known, and we got some really great answers back.
Mm-hmm.
To start us off, I think that I would start with one of the things that I wish I had known is honestly, like, the most relevant one to me right now would be parenting.
Mm,
How this person said, how there's no right or wrong way to do it, and how it looks different for everybody, and every kid is completely different. My two children have the exact same parents, and they are two wildly different children.
right.
I wish that was talked about more also, and I wish that
Mm,
I had given myself way more grace. And I still actually need more grace on myself with that too.
I think so too. I think
Um,
you do too. I think that you, especially with Hudson, you were really hard on yourself, I feel.
yeah,
And you weren't like crazy, but like you definitely were a little hard on yourself. And I could, you just got frustrated with things. But like, I mean,
yeah, and like
eh,
milestones and stuff. I wish I had known that like
yeah,
every
yeah,
milestone is different. Like I really because you know what, parenting is already hard enough, and it's like you really want to be able to enjoy it. You want to be able to like really immerse yourself in it and get rid of some of that
right,
anxiety around it.
right, right. Like
But
just sort of embrace it, you
embrace
know?
it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right. I would
Um
say one of the things that I think I think that's amazing, especially for parents. And I really think that like it's like social media is a twofold. Like it shows you some truths, but it also does a lot of fear mongering. So it's like you just
yeah,
have to be so careful. Like I said, you can make a chocolate chip cookie 100 different ways. It's still going to end up a chocolate chip cookie. Same thing with kids.
right.
You can do a lot of different things. There's a lot of different styles. There's cultures. There's all kinds of stuff like informs how people parent, whatever, even how they like run a business, whatever it might be. And like no one's going to do it perfectly.
Exactly. And
Like
like
they just aren't.
that's totally fine.
That's totally fine.
Um do you have a one I have a couple
No,
more, but I know that you want no, you
I
know
don't have it.
everything
I've knew everything at a young
since the
age and I
jump.
continued to know
That's so
everything.
you.
I think that one thing that I wish that I had known more when I was younger is that confidence is not born.
Yeah, my god, yeah.
And everyone fakes it sometimes. And
Yeah.
like I think that again it goes back to social media. When you have a platform that is like all about body acceptance and self-acceptance and things, people kind of get this like weird idea that you are like always confident and like you always feel great and you're always having a 10 out of 10 day, and that's just like not true. But also, even if someone is coming across like they are, they might be faking it. And that's actually okay. It's okay to fake it sometimes
Yeah.
because sometimes you kind of need that. You
I think you
almost,
kind of have to in order to be
yeah.
confident. I think that you kind of
Mm-hmm.
have to fake it because it's like it's almost like it goes hand in hand with like learning it, right? Because you're like, well,
Right.
how does this look? And you
Mm-hmm.
almost have to like try it on for size, right? Like, is this what it
Absolutely.
is? And I think that
Yeah, you have to
that is,
cosplay the confidence almost. Like you're
yeah,
LARPing confidence. All right.
completely.
And it's like I've gone into situations like even get togethers or events where I feel like such a flop, and I'm just like
Yeah.
anxious about talking to people. Like some people might not even like know that I sometimes can have a little bit of social anxiety. And like you may not, I mean, maybe you guys are like, yeah, obviously that reads, but maybe you guys are like, that's kind of interesting. But like I do, even like when we were doing the SI event, like
Yeah.
it's a little bit it like not a lot of people would go into a situation where it's like, okay, so you're going to meet like probably 100 people and
Right.
you're going to talk to them directly and you're just going to like
Yeah.
meet them, and you have to be on the whole time. It's like some people would probably be like, okay, that's really intimidating.
Scary. Yeah.
And yeah, and to like have the confidence to do that. But I think this also goes hand in hand with another thing that I feel like I've wished that I had learned younger, is that you are capable of so much more than you think you are. So whatever
Mm,
you think you're capable of doing, I promise you, you're capable of more than that. And you really prove that to yourself time and time again. And I
yeah.
think this maybe even goes back to probably parenting. It's like the more you do it, the more you get comfortable with it, the more you realize that like that negative self-talk and like that negative bullshit that you say to yourself of like, I'm this, I'm that. Like I say, I have
Right.
social anxiety sometimes. The more you kind of face that, the more you're like, maybe I don't have it to a point that's debilitating though. Like maybe I
Right.
can get and I can have moments of anxiety, but I'm able to overcome them every single time. So it's like, yes,
Right.
I accept that this is something that like might be a bit of a hurdle, but I always overcome it
Right.
regardless, you know?
I think I completely agree with that. I think I
Mhm.
really realized that when we went through everything with Bub.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I thought if something like that would ever happen to me,
Yep.
that I would no longer be here. Like I was like, I will not be able to withstand that.
Yeah.
And that was in my head, and that brought so much fear to so much of my life for
Mhm.
so long. That
Yeah.
feeling of if this happens, then this is going to happen to me because I just know myself. I'm not going to be able to withstand it. I'm just not. I'm not. And
Right.
so when we got through it, I was like, whoa, I
Yeah.
surprised myself. And so
Mhm.
from then on, I was kind of like, okay, I really don't know what I'm capable of until the opportunity presents itself. And I
Yeah.
need to now just take the opportunity, whatever it is, and get through it, right? Whether
Right.
it's good, bad, whatever it is, like you really surprise yourself. I know I really surprised myself during that time, like having to deal with like the biggest loss of my entire life, and then being pregnant, and then giving birth 7 weeks later, and then having a newborn, and like I surprised myself because I
Yeah.
thought in my head, there's no way. And so I let so much of that fear of what could have been leading up to that point, even in those like chunks of my life before, define so much of what I did. And
Yeah.
I wish I had known that way earlier. Obviously, I don't wish that this would have happened earlier, duh.
Right.
But like in
You
like
wish you
a
knew what you're capable of
calmer way.
doing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Cause I
yeah.
feel like I would have really jumped at things a little more feet first,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's
Um,
not always gonna make sense either. It's like it may like you'll figure things out over time. Like even I've had situations where I've been like, how am I gonna afford this? How am I
yeah,
gonna get through? It's like, and then you just figure it out. And I think that
yeah,
that kind of ties into just being also in your like 30s, for instance. I'm like,
yeah,
if I knew in my 20s how capable I was of figuring shit out, like there may not be a playbook and I may not do it perfectly every time, but like we're going to get there by hook or by crook.
yeah.
By hook or by crook, we're
And
going
for
to get
you,
there.
mainly crook.
Mainly crooking, dude.
For you, mainly
You're
crook.
going
'Cause you're
to get
dirty, dude.
there.
You never do things the clean way.
No,
Um,
I'm
no,
always
it's
doing
so
stuff in the
true though.
back
And it's
way.
like back to like the whole thing with like Tynan, not to make this about that, but like
Yeah.
that whole thing also taught me so much of I wish I had known earlier to not take things so serious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not in
Yeah.
the way of like, oh, don't take like big things serious, but like have fun and like just let loose a little bit. You're not
Yeah.
gonna, those people who have whatever in high school made fun of you, whatever it is, bullied you, like they're gonna be so irrelevant. Like go and
Mhm.
enjoy. I
Yeah.
wish I had known that earlier. And maybe it's not even because of time, that was just kind of like an added thing of like, whoa, if this is
Yeah.
all really short and fleeting. Like, but just that feeling of I wish I had known that because I think I would have really enjoyed and looked at my teen years a bit differently,
Yeah. Absolutely.
with a little bit
Mhm.
more of that like excitement.
Yeah.
Instead, I kept wanting to be older, wanting to like look older, be older, wanting to like get through it and then get past it and like be mature and be an adult.
Mm.
And now I'm like, wish I would have not done that,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think
Um,
another one that I learned is that people pleasing is not the same as being kind. And I think
that's a good one.
that when you are somebody who is a people pleaser, and I think we all have different levels of it, of people pleasing. And I think that especially if you grew up in an environment where you had somebody that was around all the time who you kind of had to manage their emotions,
Yeah.
you do become a people pleaser and
Right.
you start thinking that you're responsible for everyone's emotions
Yeah.
and that it's your fault if somebody gets upset about something that you do or say. And to an extent, yeah, like you can't go around being an asshole, and this is where the kindness comes in.
Right.
But people pleasing and being kind are different. You can be kind and still be like firm in what you're saying and what you believe, without having to sacrifice what you feel about something
Yeah.
or
I feel like I
what
still
you want
struggle with
done.
that. I don't
I
even
think
think
everyone does. I
yeah,
think
I don't even know if
it's
that's even
tough.
a what I wish I had known. I feel like that's something I still currently struggle with,
Yeah, I
you
think
know?
especially women, we definitely all struggle
Yeah.
with the people pleasing. Like we were raised. Thankfully, I feel like the conversation's changing now, but I feel like so many of us were raised to be like, don't make too many waves. Like you have to be the
Yeah.
calm presence in
Don't
every
ruffle any
situation. Don't
feathers.
ruffle any
Yeah.
feathers.
I
Don't
mean,
take
look at
up
me
too
right
much
now.
space.
I'm on the
Yeah.
edge of a breakdown and I'm doing the podcast. No, I
As
literally
you can
needed
see.
like some structure in my day.
I know, I know. You
But
needed a little bit like a reprieve, if you will. But
it's
I mean,
yeah.
I even saw something about parenting. It's so funny because I get so much parenting stuff
I
because
know you get more
obviously,
parenting
like
stuff than I do,
I
I
do,
feel
and I'll
like.
send you everything I get for parenting. But it said that the best parenting advice is to be firm and kind. That's
I love
it. They're like,
that.
if
I
you could
love
just
that.
sum parenting up in 2 words: firm and kind.
I love that.
And
I
I
feel like
think
that
that can
resonates with kids so much
totally
too because it's like and you don't have to raise your voice. You don't have to be loud in order to get your but be firm. There's a difference
firm.
in saying no to no,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
There's a
And
difference
kids are
in
going to know.
saying
They're going to
yeah,
know
they're
the
going to know.
intonation. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And also there's a difference in saying something a not kind way and not getting your point across, and also
Yeah.
at the same time possibly damaging the child's self-esteem, whatever it might be. You can also say it firm in a nice way, in a kind way, and then also not have to deal with the ramifications of what that is down the line, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um,
And I think everyone that can extend to everyday people too in your
yeah,
life and even to yourself. Like you can be firm with yourself, but still be kind. You can be
right.
firm with people in your life and still be kind. Like
Yeah,
I wish that I knew, and I wish I could tell younger women now, and even just women our age now and older, like it is okay to be firm in what you believe and in what you want
yeah.
and your boundaries, but like being kind is, can get you pretty far in life too.
A lot of people
Um,
are not though. I mean, we've how many
yeah.
sets have we been on? How many events have we been in where, I always say, God, so and so really, I met so and they really were just like not nice or not
Yeah.
kind. Like, I just think
And just
that to me.
don't like mesh the two too of like, well, I'm being kind by people pleasing, you know?
Right, because then you're gonna it's only a
You
detriment
think
to
you're not
you.
being kind if you're not people pleasing, and they're not the same
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I have to
that's
learn that. Should we get into some of our
yeah, absolutely.
listeners?
These are
Okay.
what you guys said, so I'm very
Yes.
curious to see what y'all said.
Yeah. Um, this was a really good one. I wish I had known how hard it is to grieve the loss of somebody who is still alive. I am in
Mm,
no contact with my mom.
that's
That is
tough.
really hard. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think, especially when you're kind of probably making those decisions of, okay, am I going to cut contact with this person, whatever it is? What does that look like? I think that probably something is not talked about is like the grieving of, okay, this person is truly no longer in my life anymore.
Right. Right. And I
Um,
think especially if it's someone like a parent, it's got that extra layer of difficulty because it's like this is somebody that you grew up, you thought knew everything, you thought was right about everything, and then we all eventually have that experience where
yeah,
we realize our parents are humans, and then you start seeing the flaws and like the cracks in that foundation, and sometimes it's really hard for people, and then especially I think especially with like the political landscape thing that's been
yeah,
pretty prevalent between like friendships and family members and stuff. So it's like that. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. And,
yeah,
I think, but like, I'm sure it's probably for a damn good reason.
yeah,
I think if you're going no contact with someone like a mom or a dad or like a sibling, that's not something that you're like, oh, I can't wait to
taking
go no
lightly.
contact. Yeah. Like, I can't wait to
Yeah,
go no contact with like my immediate family. And,
yeah,
you would probably rather have had a great relationship with them. But I think the fact that, first of all, that they did that is amazing, because I'm sure you needed it for your own like self-preservation. But it is hard. It is really hard.
yeah,
And I wonder if, people knew what it was like, if they would decide to do it still.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it sounds like it was the right choice. And I feel like I've personally never met someone who went like no contact with somebody who
Well,
wasn't
it's like when
like, it's
people say,
painful, but it was the best decision.
right. It's like when people say, like, oh, I'm so sorry you're going through divorce. And it's like, no good marriage ends in divorce.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, of course, it sucks, but it's like no good marriage ends in divorce. You're
Right.
divorced
If
for a
everything's
reason. If
great
there's
and
no
everyone's
contact, for a
happy,
reason.
yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, another person said how naive and ignorant my white privilege made me. I get that
Mm,
completely.
absolutely. 100%.
There's yeah, for sure. For sure,
Yeah,
for
I think
sure.
that it took a lot of like really hearing and listening to people
Mhm.
with from different backgrounds and different races and all kinds of people and their struggles in this life. And I think that's the one benefit that I can say of social media is like it exposed us to so
Yeah.
many people with so many different backgrounds, and so we have been able to learn um just and travel to just how much our white privilege has informed a lot of what we were able to do, what's been available to us.
Mhm.
And this is why it's so important to use, if you're going to have the privilege, you need to do two things. One, work to dismantle the privilege,
Mhm.
and make sure that that's not something that people have to overcome. And while it's here, use it for good,
Yeah, completely.
to protect people, to
Yeah.
uplift people.
Yep.
So make sure you're doing both things in tandem. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that God, I wish if everyone learned that young. It's not, no one's sitting here trying to guilt you or anything. I mean, it's
No, but
like,
it's just
but just being
we
aware
have
of
to
it and
learn and
doing good with
unlearn,
it.
you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Exactly.
This person said that it's still okay even if it's not perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's something you need
Hits.
to learn.
I know.
Yeah. That's
I
something you
know.
need to learn.
Yeah.
I'm totally like, it is what it is. I think because your personality is so like you are a perfectionist.
Hmm.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think I wonder too if it's almost like I need to get over myself too, because it's like what you think you're so perfect, like you think you're going to be perfect at everything you do. But
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 also our parents
yeah,
raised us to be that way. Our parents
yeah,
raised us to believe that we could guys, we were raised in a way where we like our parents would be like, "You want to be a doctor? Yeah, be a doctor. You want to be an astronaut? Sure, you can do that too. You're the
hmm,
most beautiful person in the entire world. You have the best
yeah,
personality of anybody in the entire world. Go
yeah,
out and do whatever you want to do. You can do it." You know what I mean? So it's
hmm,
like, and I think that as much as I love that, it can breed that feeling of okay, I have to do everything a certain way.
right. Well, and also I feel like when you do that, you also need to at the same time tell kids it's also okay if
You're not.
it doesn't work out perfectly or you don't
Yeah.
become the president. Like it's
Right.
actually that's also okay.
Right.
Like
It's
I have
available to
faith that
you,
you,
but
yeah,
if you
exactly. Yep,
totally.
absolutely.
We had a lot of this of when people show you who they are, believe them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think that that is
Absolutely.
so um something I wish I had known years ago as well.
Yeah,
Another one is which hits home to me, you don't need to go to college or university in quotations to be a smart, successful person.
absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
that's something that I've always thought is like, okay, I didn't love school and I didn't go to college and I didn't do all these things. So like I'm missing that like gold ribbon to be like, you're a
Yeah.
smart, you know what I
Right.
mean? It's like, here you go, smart. Next,
Right.
you know what I
Well,
mean?
and also just the whole idea that going to college automatically makes you smart
Right.
is incorrect. How many people do we know who went to college who are not any
Dum
smarter than
dums.
anyone else? Yeah, they're dum dums. No, but like you're not any better or smarter than anyone because you went to college. Um, what makes what makes college great for people that it's good for is if you have a curious mind about something particular, you
Yeah.
can dive deeper into it. And I
Right.
think that's what's great about higher education. So if you're somebody who's like, gosh, I really love, paleontology, I got a taste of it in school, but I want more and I want to become more studied at it and I want to be like more proficient in it. You go to college, you go to higher learning, you get to dive deeper into that particular thing.
Right.
But I don't think in any way, like, I have a degree. I don't think it made me smarter in any sense of like, do I understand business in a different way? Sure. Could I have
Right.
gotten that by experience? Probably.
Right.
But
also
I
wonder how
was able to
much.
have an experience that I just simply wanted to have. It had nothing to do with
Yeah,
intelligence or capability. It just gave me a fun experience. Just like if, you were to go to a retreat, or like, and not
right,
to downplay because it is an achievement to go to college. I understand. And by the way, it's amazing that it's available to us. And I don't take that for granted.
right.
Um, but yeah,
I
I
also
don't
wonder how
think it
much being smart is subjective, right? Because you look at somebody like a
totally.
Donald Trump and you have half the people going, "This is the smartest man. He's educated. He's this, that, the other," and then you look at people who are like, I can't believe that this is somebody who's running our country, right? So it's like at
Right.
some point, it's like it's subjective.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. I mean, he went to Fordham University,
yeah.
so it's like,
And didn't
okay,
he
it
also
does.
go to something with an H? No, he only went to Fordham.
I think in Wharton,
Wharton
if
is
that's
what.
what you
Yeah,
mean.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I also like, yeah. And I agree. And listen, whatever, however you land on the political spectrum, we're just using that as like an example of it's like, it doesn't mean anything.
It's not A
Like,
plus B equals C. Like it
no,
is in some
exactly.
cases, but it's like it's also
Now,
subjective.
to be a doctor, yes, you do have to go to university because you
Yeah.
have to be smarter for that.
Unless you're a doctor and being thick, dude, which I am. I have
Hunter has a
my
doctorate in being
PhD in
thick.
being thick. Okay, I'm
I
gonna
have a
go through.
PhD for thick.
This one's very specific, but I think if you're dealing with this is also gives you hope. I wish I had known that I can have cancer and go through chemo and still live a normal life.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
I actually
That's
have a
nice for people to
friend,
hear.
and I have a friend who is going through chemo, and he's just taking it the best way and like totally happy-go-lucky, wonderful human being.
Yeah.
Um, okay. That alopecia isn't the end. It could actually be the beginning of a fresh life. I love that.
I love that.
If you struggle to take showers, brush your teeth, do the dishes, you might have depression.
That I think is another thing. I think that again, we live in such like a go, go, go. Like you gotta get out there, like hustle, like wake up,
Yeah.
grind world. And it's like I actually have to tell myself that. You
Yeah.
know that. Like
Yeah.
even just to like rest, sometimes I'm just like, gosh, I should be doing something. And it's like, no, dude, you may be having like a day.
Yeah.
You might be having a day today, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
And if you are struggling to do daily tasks like that, it may be depression, and that's something that you should like be able to go in and like recognize.
Yeah.
I was watching this thing, this YouTube video about it was a neurologist, and he was talking about neurodivergent people and like autism and how some people are claiming that there's a rise in autism, and what he was saying is that there's four different indicators of the rise or like the more diagnoses of autism. And one of those is that people are starting to recognize the signs of it now
Mm,
more than they did 20, 30 years ago.
right. We also have
Be-
so much more
so many more
out there, so
people,
many more markers, so many
more
more, you know
marker.
what I mean? All of
Exactly.
it.
But that's what I mean. And it's like the more you know what symptoms and the signs of different things are, the easier you're going to be able to clock it and then get help that you need. So,
Right.
that's a great suggestion. I
Yeah.
also wanted to say something because we were talking about like if people show you their true colors.
Yeah.
I read something recently that said that red flags are not your invitation to prove your loyalty. It's your time to run.
Mm, I love that.
And I think a lot of people, that's something that I think I wish a lot of people that I knew growing up knew,
Yeah.
because I have dealt with people who did not see red flags, or they thought that it was I've done it too, where you think it's like, okay, this is the time to prove I'm loyal and I'm a ride or die. That whole
Yeah.
like ride or die thing, I take a little bit of umbrage with, because it's like, but what if they're doing some
Right.
really bad shit, or
Right.
like, what if
Right.
they're really not good for your health? Like, that is okay to sort of be like, I don't think I can ride or die for you. Like,
Right. Right.
this is a red flag, and I don't need to prove loyalty in this way.
Right.
Undying loyalty to me in the kind of world we're living in,
Are you ride or
I
die
don't
for
like
me?
it. I'm ride or die for you. You can
Okay,
be ride or
good.
die for people
You're
who
gonna
like,
have to be soon. No, I'm just kidding.
right.
Can you
You're
imagine?
like, because I'm absolutely losing my fucking
Yeah.
marbles. So you're going to need to be cleaning up some messes.
Because we are uh coming up on our time, I want to kind of rapid fire through some of these,
Let's
if
do
that's
it.
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. This one's kind of funny. That pouring my heart. I wish I had known that pouring my heart into my career wouldn't matter because Doge will ruin it anyways.
Oh my God.
Oh, God bless you. I'm so
This
sorry.
is like telling the future at this point, though.
Seriously.
It's like, you know.
That it's okay to advocate yourself when perimenopause hits. And then we had another one that said that perimenopause is a thing. Perimenopause is a
Yeah.
real thing, you guys. Go and check out. We had a podcast, me, and a few other girls, Ashley Longshore and Katie Cerrito and Tracy Moore. We had a podcast, and it was with Lemonada. It was like a 8-part series, and we had someone on talking about perimenopause. Perimenopause can start as soon as like 34 years old. Symptoms will come on of like hot flashes and things like that, but it's just not widely talked about, and so people often dismiss it. And then you kind of dismiss then all of these markers into what is going to be menopause. And anyways, very interesting episode. Go check it out because it is a very real thing and that we just don't talk about in society. And there's also just like not enough on it yet.
Right.
Very interesting. This person said that the road to heaven isn't paved through others' opinions. Love that.
Okay, love that.
The lies I told myself about coming out were to protect other people and not myself.
Okay,
Yep, so true. That IVF does, if IVF doesn't work and you might not end up with, that IVF doesn't work and you may end up without a baby. Oh,
sad. Can I add one more?
Yeah.
Budgeting is freedom.
Ooh, I like that.
I wish I told myself this when I was younger because I always thought budgeting was a constraint, but it's actually freedom.
I love that. I love
like,
that.
We operate off of a pretty strict budget, and we do that because
you could use a budget.
I always tell you, I can send you our thing. Like, we have a whole prompt for budgeting, and I have a full like Excel spreadsheet that has like formulas, so we know how much we're gonna have, how much we need to spend, how much like extra we have, how much we have in savings. Like, it gives us so much freedom. It's insane because we're able to be like, to look at something and be like, yeah, we can't do that now, but like we can do it in 3 months.
Yeah.
Or you know what I mean? We know our eyes are fully open to the financial situation.
Yeah.
And we're able to plan, and we're able to like sleep at night because we're like, we know where everything's coming. We know where everything's going. So yeah, just like sit down and do your fucking budget, y'all. Like, it will give you just fucking budget, dude. That's how you know you're almost in your 40s. You're just like, just fucking budget, bro.
What are you doing today? Budgeting?
Yeah. Before it was like YOLO, like live your life. Like you just, live life to the fullest. And now I'm just like, budget, bro.
Dude, tell my husband that, who literally last night was like, we're hemorrhaging money because we bought a generator. It's so him like that.
Oh,
anyways, God, guys, okay, it's another one in the books. Okay,
it's another one in the books, and thank you for being here, Hunter, because like you did the most to be here today.
I wanted to make sure we got this in for you. And you know that if we missed an episode or we are delayed an episode, that it's something really must have come up. And guys, we were almost there. And then I said, you know what? I got an hour in me. Let's just do,
let's squeeze it out.
Rest?
Let's squeeze it out. Yes. Let's take her to the brink and maybe just push her over.
Yeah, that's right. So we love you. And you know, it would be a gift to me. Go and give us a review. Okay. On Apple Podcasts. That would be the greatest gift to me and Michaela. And check us out on Patreon, $5 a month. You get 2 extra episodes. You get them early, ad-free, and video. And that's a pretty damn good deal. So go check it out. We love you, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much for listening. You can catch a new episode of Model Citizen every Thursday. And please don't forget to follow the podcast so you don't miss any of the action. We want to hear from you, so please leave a rating and review and follow us on socials for all the behind-the-scenes action at Hunter McGrady and Michaela McGrady. And don't forget, you are worthy, you are loved, and you are capable of doing all wonderful things. Bye, guys.